2, 1. Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to episode number 15 of the Across Your Bow podcast. I'm of course your host, Servant Mike. Joining me this week is my man, TBD fam. Hashtag twitch.tv/jequalsjosh. What's up, Josh? How you doing tonight, man?
What's up, man?
Are you down? Are you down for this podcast? Oh yeah, there you go. There you go.
Right. Sorry, I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
Oh, well, we can go wherever you feel like it. Hey, so what have you been working on? What have you been working on ships-wise lately?
Dude, just streaming, man. Getting ready for that rank battles. That tier 9 rank battles coming out. Just trying to practice my Iowa and my Buffalo play.
All right, it's not bad.
That's about it.
There you go.
About it, man.
We here in the podcast have made this week Discord partner last week, so that was pretty awesome. Before the last, also as you guys see, just to confirm, if y'all did not know, Sir Venom now is community contributor for World of Warships, so that's been a pretty good, pretty good.
Congrats, man.
Pretty good couple of weeks coming up here for me in the podcast, and I heard that there's some applications gone out for your little shiny purple check mark.
Yeah, I applied for partner. I applied for Twitch partner and community contributor, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with both of them. Kind of excited about it. I don't really know what else to say about it. I'm incredibly humbled by it, and we'll see where it goes. It's only go up from here, right?
There you go. Well, you can definitely screw yourself over, but yeah, we'll go ahead and say we're going up from here. All right, boys, ladies and gentlemen, this episode of the podcast, we're going to start out with the news. We're going to talk about radar and what I'm dubbing the BCV, right? Before the CV change, after the CV change. So tomorrow is AC. So welcome to year 1. Or year 0 of before the change, and then we will start up tomorrow as day 1 of year 1. Tomorrow. For after change. I don't know.
Wait, what?
It's a big
That's confusing.
It is, I don't know. You know, whatever. Haha, this is starting off really well. Anyway, guys, I have a servant of YK. He is jequalsjosh. You guys can find him over on his Twitch channel at twitch.tv/jequalsjosh. You guys can also hit him up on his Twitter at jequalsjosh. Now, please note that there is a Q&A session at the end of the stream. If you guys are at the end of the podcast, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please go ahead and link them at Sir Venom IK, at jequalsjosh, or at one of the mods, and they will send it over to me. And well, that's it, man. That's all we got. Thanks for hanging out and watching, boys. Now, we'll see you next week. No. All right. So let's start out with a little bit of the news here. The new patch notes came out with some relatively new things. And I'm only going to lightly touch on some of the things that I found important. Then we will get into the radar changes and the pre-CV rework and coming up here in just a second. So, concealment expert. It's now 10% across the board. Concealment's changing. What do you think of that?
Concealment changes. Isn't that going on? Concealment expert, isn't that available for everyone?
It is available for everyone, but now it's standardized across the board. Concealment expert is 10%. So just like the video said, if you guys haven't seen the video, we will link that in the description below for you beautiful people watching over on YouTube. 8.0, man, oh man. So ships like the Dunkirk and stuff are going to be a little bit better off with concealment. And some boats that benefit from concealment overly are going to lose a little bit of concealment.
There's a video. I went ahead and dropped it in chat.
Yeah, there you go. Drop it in chat. Also a new campaign, just like the UK campaign, the Prince Idle to Frederick campaign, or missions that we just finished. There's 4 new missions coming out, or 4 stages of missions that are lasting 1 week for the new Pan-Asian themed camo, plus premium time. You can get Pan-Asian boats. That is starting up relatively quickly. Plus, there's changes to the new Dragon port, which they look actually pretty dope. I don't know about you. They look pretty awesome. If you guys have seen the old Dragon port, you guys can check it out by hitting that little anchor up in the top left corner just under your name. You can change the port that you're in. Also, a naval battle competition Monday through Thursday, where your clan members will have to sign up and go fight for oil if you guys want to fight for oil, doing particular objects. That is coming back.
It's the new supply lines.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm all right with that. I mean, we need oil. We only have we as a clan only have the 5-inch clan. That's right, the average clan. We only have one. We only have one thing left to do, and that's finish out the steel mills or whatever they're called, and that's it. And we're 100% maxed out. So that's what we're saving up ours for. What about you guys over there?
You know, I don't know, man. I'm rarely involved. I play with a lot of the clan members for like randoms and stuff, but I'm rarely involved with actual clan activities. I just grind out, man. I let Salty and Wooster handle that.
There you go.
And I just contribute to the best of my ability to whatever their end goal shall be.
Sounds like a plan. I mean, I don't really go overboard trying to fight for the clan at all. I know next season we are going to definitely dip into Clan Wars. Speaking of that, the Clan Wars just ended. How'd you guys do?
We got to, I think, you know, Wooster told me we got to Squall or something like that.
Squall Link, nice. I think we ended up in Gold League, whatever that is, but we only really played. I think we maybe played 50 games all season, if that. We just can't. It's just not good for our time. With Storm 3, we got to Storm 3. Well, there you go. Just with the way the clan wars go and the timing on them, our clan just isn't. It just doesn't benefit our clan with the timings and so on. And that I really don't care. But did you partake of any of the clan wars at all?
You know, I did actually, and I have a good time playing clan wars. But the times that my clan get together during Wednesday or Thursday or Saturday and Sunday, I typically the timing doesn't really work for me. So I wasn't able to participate in a lot of the clan wars or in every single clan war match, but fortunately I was able to go in for at least 10, 15 matches and kind of devastate the competition.
There you go,
so to speak, when I could. So
I know the only reason why I even cared about it this time around is to get enough steel so I could get the Bourguignon. That's it.
Oh yeah, and
that's it.
The cash flow from winning. Oh my gosh, and the experience.
The experience is really nice, especially free XP. Oh. Free XP from that, especially if you flag up or whatever. It's pretty good. All right. So that's all the basic news that we got right now. Is there any other news stories out there that you wanted to touch on that you found important?
We're gonna talk about ranked, right?
Yeah, well, we can talk Season about 11. That. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, we're gonna talk about it. It's part of it.
Okay. Well, no, carry on.
All right. So now, are you ready for the 9 questions of averageness?
You told me 8 questions.
No, I'm giving you. Well, I added another.
All right, okay.
All right, so there you go. 9 questions of averageness featuring jequalsjosh. Number 1, how did you find World of Warships?
Okay, so this isn't like a rapid fire thing, right?
No, just take your time and answer.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I was the short answer is my friend Salty Cow introduced me into World of Warships. He started streaming it, and I've known Salty Cow from several years prior to me. This is before I even started streaming. I've known Salty Cow playing a game called and then he started streaming a couple years after we met, and then I relinked up with him, and he had been playing this game called World of Warships, and I had previously played World of Tanks back on the Xbox 360 like 100 years ago, and this is before World of Warships was even a thing. So yeah, Salty Cow introduced me into World of Warships.
There you go. Now I have so moving on to question number 2. What was your motivations to start streaming overall, or ships, whatever? Because I know you don't just stream ships.
No, I try to dabble. Ships is my main game, but I try to dabble in other video games when I can, just because I play a little bit of everything. I call myself a variety streamer, but I mainly play ships. My big motivation to start streaming like 5 years ago, my best friend through what's up, Wooster? My best friend through high school started streaming. He was playing a lot of DayZ, and I created my Twitch account specifically so I could support him. And he streamed for like a good year and a half, 2 years, and then he just kind of fell off the board. And then like a year and a half later, Salty Cow started streaming, so I got my account back up and started following Salty, and he kind of really encouraged me to start streaming myself. And I play a ton of video games, and I'm like, why not just freaking stream it, man? Why not just have a good time and broadcast it? And so yeah, so that's it right there.
There you go, man. I've always enjoyed hearing, well, I was doing this because nobody else was doing it, or that's basically why I started streaming, because I was playing a game called Diablo 3, and everybody knows this already, but I was playing a game called Diablo 3, and nobody was playing Demon Hunter on streams. It was all monks, it was all barbs, it was all everything else, and so I started playing Demon Hunter, and I was like, I'm gonna stream this, and well, that's been 5 years ago almost already, so.
I tell you that the game I started streaming, and Wooster might know this, but the game I actually started streaming was not World of Warships. I started watching World of Warships, but it was actually PUBG. I used to play a lot of PUBG.
So you're relatively new to streaming world then?
No, I started streaming World of Warships probably a month after I started streaming, which was about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it's relatively new.
And so yeah, so I'm I'm very new. I've got about 1,300 battles under my belt. So if that tells you guys anything, that's it.
Man, I guess there's a difference, because after I've only been playing a game 2.5 years, and I've got 13,000 games in 2.5 years.
Okay, but so I haven't played it probably like you have, though.
No, that's probably true. I usually play it 6 to 8 hours a night right here on twitch.tv/servermike. So as everybody knows, when you're streaming, there's times of ups and downs, and what has been the biggest down setback or something like that that has made you change your mentality into what you're doing today?
Oh, holy cow, man. Probably the beginning of 2018, like the first few months of 2018, just very kind of, I wasn't doing a lot. I wasn't putting much effort into my my content. The pool of people that I knew, that I hung out with, that streamed, my friends and stuff, is kind of small, so I didn't have really anything kind of, I don't know, I don't know how to say it, like creatively speaking. I didn't have a lot of kind of friends to kind of shoot the shit with and
bounce ideas off of.
Thank you. And then I got a new job. I got a new job and kind of lit a fire under my ass, like in real life. I got a new job, and like a month after starting, I ran into a guy named Matt, who's known to everybody as Surly. He was a coworker of mine, and
TBD fam.
Yeah, he was
TBD leader.
He was like, hey man, oh, you stream too? What do you stream? And I was very kind of like, oh dude, I'm nobody. I got like 200 followers. I got like 10 average viewers. I'm like, trying to be very kind of, anyway. And then he
you're affiliated.
Yeah, he kind of like I was like, yeah, I'm affiliated.
I'm affiliated streamer.
Yeah, and so yeah, so then Surly really kind of lit a fire under my ass, and then he's like, oh, I'm starting up this community called TBD, to be determined, which Venom is now a part of, and it's kind of that community itself is kind of blown up.
It's gotten crazy big,
and the amount of content creators that you can just bounce ideas off of, that tiny pool I was dealing with at the beginning of the year, just like grew exponentially. And it really kind of, I started updating my graphics. I started putting a lot more effort into my content, my stream, little things like that. I mean, really kind of go a long way, and it showed in my stream. And I got a mic, I got a mixer, I got, not just,
I'm still on that I need a mixer type thing,
but hardware as well. It kind of blew up from there. And yeah, man, it's been a wild ride. This year has been absolutely insane, and I'm Still in it for the long haul, man.
So you answered the next question as well there in that. And at what point did streaming click for you? Obviously, meeting Surly was that turning point, and that is nice. It's nice that somebody has that. The turning point for me was this game. Having people to come in there and help teach me and learn, and you can go back through the VODs. You can go back through the VODs from the first day that I played this game. It was all a progression from scrub to average.
Yeah,
and one day I might graduate from the school of average and become good. I don't know. So question number 5 is, what does being a ship streamer mean to you? And what do you think that you can do in the future to continue to grow or perform as a streamer at a higher level?
Yeah, see, I don't think performing at a higher level is gonna. I don't think there's any room for me in that category. But the community is
all right. Let me rephrase: to perform at an average level. There you go. Is that more of it?
I'm below average. No. Yeah, I can. I think I can answer that without shooting myself in the foot.
Now, well, this is your time to tout on yourself and let the community know who you are and what you represent.
Yeah, pretty much the community. Our boy Woo there and Cal and man, the list is pretty endless when it comes to the Warships community. But that's basically what it means. Like every time I jump into a ships game, every time I see someone or I enter a random battle as a solo queue and I see someone I know on the other team or in my squad, just kind of reminds me why I play ships. The community is absolutely phenomenal, and I always have a good time when I boot up the game and or div up or get some drop ins going. It's always a great time. So
yeah. So what? Next question is, what would you say that makes you stand out as a streamer? What makes you different than any of the other ship streamers that are out there, bro?
I don't know if it makes me really different, but I just I know everybody wants to just have fun, right? But
you don't have fun?
Take it too seriously. Like I just go in and no, it's kind of cliche to say, oh, I just stream Warships to have fun, but I do. Like I just get on and my chat sometimes will get at me for it if I mess up or if I do something that, you know, if I show my broadside or something like that, if I slip up. I know not to show my broadside, but every now and then it happens in my chat.
Sometimes you can't avoid showing broadside.
Sometimes you can't help it, but you can definitely tell in my play that I'm a below average player. But it doesn't stop me from booting up the game, and every day, the fun is what matters. Exactly what I like to have fun with it. I go in and shoot the shit, and most of my deaths result from me not even paying attention and just paying attention to chat and it's bitten me in the ass quite a few times. Watching the chats, reading the chat scroll.
Hey, well, you know, that's a sign. I mean, we all do it as streamers. We like, crap, I was talking to the chat. Thanks, chat. I appreciate it, chat.
Thanks, chat.
You did it. It's all your fault, chat. Well,
it's so easy to blame them.
It's fine. I mean, that's a mark of a good streamer if you can pay attention to the chat, and that's more important than the actual game that you're playing, I think. So moving on, who influences you as a person, as a streamer, to go to that next level? You know, albeit a person, artist, a book, a movie. You know, what is your inspiration to do what you do?
Sir Venom IK is my inspiration.
Get out of here.
Every day I wake up and I put on my World of Tanks hat.
It's a Warships
and
hat.
World of Warships hat. And I click that play on the random battles. I cross my fingers. I get 2 brothers, so I can get some funky ass dollars.
I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, look at him. He's bald. He's got the beard going on. It's pretty close, bros. It's pretty close.
It's not as good. No, to be honest, though, probably my wife. I know that's probably just a common thing, but yeah, my wife has been a huge supporter of me and my stream and the content I put out there. And every now and then she'll pop in and show her face. And so yeah, probably my wife, man, big time.
There you go. All right. Do you have any tips or tricks for an aspiring streamer or ships player or streaming ships player?
Probably new. Man, we've had so many new TBD members joining ships lately.
Yeah, it's great. It's actually great.
Yeah,
a lot of people have come
even
in, but have decided that this isn't for me.
a lot of people, but at least they try it out, right?
Yeah.
And some people have stayed, some people have hung out. But probably the biggest thing I would tell people, especially new players just starting out, is, first couple tiers, try to figure out what you want to play, whether it's cruiser, battleship, or destroyer, and just stick with it. Stick with a country, stick with a line, and just roll with it all the way to tier 7, tier 6, tier 7, and then maybe even tier 8, and then branch off. And then start working on a different line or something like
there
that.
You
just
go.
because the amount of experience that you get, free experience especially, that could just help make those next lines, those early pushes, a lot more easier. Is to just, hope that helps.
That makes sense. The next thing, one last question for the newest of new players in ships itself.
Oh,
what is your biggest ass tip? Yeah, my biggest tip is pay attention to the mini map. That's my biggest tip.
Mini map, don't go broadside. That's the biggest in-game tip I can give you. And listen to the chat. Watch the chat. Sometimes listen to the chat.
All right, boys.
They'll spot people and let you know what's up.
Hey, there you go. Don't listen to the chat. Listen to the chat. Don't listen to the chat. Either way, you can't go wrong doing one or the other. All right, Josh. Those are the 9 questions of averages. So do you feel a little bit more average? You feel like you've put out for the people? I hope so. I hope you feel like you put out for the people. Guys, we're hanging out with my man, TBD fam, jequalsjosh. You guys go check him out on his channel, twitch.tv/jequalsjosh or at jequalsjosh over on the Twitter. And you guys can get all the updates when he goes live and all that other stuff. So.
I love when you call it twatter, man. That's a first.
You haven't heard that before? I've been calling it twatter for years.
No one's twat me before. No one's twatted at me, bro.
It's twattered.
I like it.
I do too. I love the twatters. So check it out, guys. We're going to go ahead and move on into one more subject that is not really on the board, and that's ranked season coming up relatively quickly in the next couple of days. Tier 9 ranked season, and it's going to be arms race. So basically it's a fancy epicenter where you can get buffs and go capture these areas for buffs and zones, and it gives it a little bit more open ability of different just something different, which I am craving, something different than what I have been doing. So there you go. Tier 9, it's a 6 versus 6. We saw the maps. Everybody saw the maps already. I'm not going to have to go through those. So there you are. What do you think? Tier 9 ranked season. Give me your choices.
Did you do your rank? Did you do your rank sprint?
Yeah. Well, the rank sprint doesn't have anything to do with this.
You'll start out at tier 9. You'll start out at rank 9 if you ranked out.
In the rank sprints, is that what they said?
Yeah.
Usually, man.
Dude, am I dropping knowledge on you, dude?
Their rank. Well, I mean, I got up today and was like, oh shit, Josh is here, and then I had to throw everything together. If you start out at rank 9, I mean, like, I have a hard time.
Let me find that.
I'll have to go through and see, because I know during a full rank season, you start out at 13 if you ranked out the previous rank season.
Yeah, here we go. Bonus stars for previous season. Oh, maybe not the rank sprint. Maybe if you did the previous season, season 10.
What did they say? You start out at 13?
Yeah, I'll link it. You get 22 stars, maximum possible 22 stars.
Yeah, that's
for ranking out.
According to the established tradition. Oh, here we go. All right, Fitz, we'll read that a little bit later on. That's a good comment there. All right, guys, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about ranked season, go ahead and at SirVenomIK, at jequalsjosh, or at one of my mods, and we will pull those out and put those in and address those toward the end of the show so we can keep the show flowing.
For those participating, what ship are you taking out, man?
I'll probably start out. I'm going to be probably DD player, man. I mean, I have a hard time. I have a hard time wanting to control the game and anything other than a destroyer. Because, hey, we need to go get a cap. Okay, I'm going to go get that cap. I don't have to rely on somebody that doesn't know what he's doing to go get the caps, because those caps are more important than those kills. But it is 6v6. So my thinking is either going to be a black, which got a buff here. We'll talk about that. The black or the Chungmu, maybe the Yugamo, because of the stealthy 5.4 kilometer detection. That's what I'm thinking for destroyers. Anything else, I don't know. I'm not comfortable enough in cruisers to play. St. Louis would probably be a dark horse.
I'm surprised you're not taking out a battleship. Especially, I know how you love the U.S. battleship line.
Well, with the Missouri's going to be out there, but I like I said, man, controlling the game more is more important to me than damage. Winning the game is more important than my stats. So I want to take out what's going to give my team the best chance to win, something that I know that I can play, and that's got to be the destroyers. So
I'm gonna see what I can do with the Iowa. Like I definitely agree with you there, but someone's got to play battleship, right? Someone's got.
No, there's going to be a lot of battleship players out there. I mean, the majority of the people are going to be playing Musashi. Musashi's going to be probably the most played. That in the Missouri, those will probably I'm going to say the Missouri's going to be the most played because of the utility on that radar. But the next one's going to be the freaking Musashi.
I popped the question in the chat on Sunday, and a lot of response I got was Musashi. So definitely, definitely keep your eye out for those.
I know a lot of. Like the guy, was it the last tier 10 ranked season? The guy pulls out a Yamato and goes through ranked in like 80 games or something like that. And I'm like, it took me like 300 games. I was just like, God dang, that guy's really above average there.
Dude, the last rank sprint, I had a hard time. Like the season 3 rank sprint that just passed, beat it in like 27 games or whatever.
Right, that's that 5 versus 5.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal. And then this past one, the season 4, had to have taken me like 70 games. I just got in a funk and I couldn't get out of it.
That's the thing about 7 versus 7. If they're going to do rank sprints, I think that they should limit it to 6 or 5 versus 5. 6 versus 6 or 5 versus 5. 7 versus 7 is more traditional rank season, and it just drives you insane.
Yeah.
With the 7s.
Are you going to be able to div up with anybody? Are they going to have
no divs on this one?
Okay.
No divs on this one. This one is purely solo, which I prefer. I mean, honestly, man, I don't play clan battles because I don't want to shit all over my. I don't want to shit all over my clan. I don't want to trash on all the people that help me build up the stream, and then doing it on stream makes me look like a jerk. So I really don't do clan battles too often. Because I hate to lose and everybody else hates to lose as well. But when it comes to rank season, I would prefer to do that one alone for the same reason. Because we took people out of the chat. Hey, I'm gonna play ranked. Anybody want to play with me? And if they, some of them weren't that great of players, it got really frustrating. It got really frustrating for me. To play with some of the people, so doing it solo is fine. I would prefer to do it solo, but rank sprints are good. Okay. It's a good little break. Okay. So give me your top DD, top cruiser, top battleship.
Probably the black. I don't own the black, but I've seen it taken out in battle quite a bit, and it's a nice little ship, man. As far as battleship, obviously I got to go Iowa, and then my real only experience with the tier 9 cruisers has got to be the Buffalo, unfortunately.
Yo, the Buffaloes, there's no unfortunate about the Buffalo. The Buffalo's a fantastic boat.
I don't like it. I don't
those guns.
Buffalo.
Those guns are ridiculously strong. That AP on that Buffalo is stupid good. So
I'm just a bad Buffalo player. So
well, there you go.
Probably won't see me taking it out. Probably won't.
So anyway, guys, there you go. That's a little bit of a short ranked thing. We were going to talk more about rank this season, but we had some interesting shifts in our what we're going to talk about with the next segment, which is going to be the radar segment. Now, this is a hot button topic here for a lot of people. A lot of people aren't enjoying the radar changes that are going to be coming up. But hey, at least they're doing something, because in its current state, radar is pretty overpowered, I think.
Yeah.
You have been deemed alternate universe Mijesh.
That's pretty. I'm pretty sure Mijesh has got a bald spot. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. That's high praise, actually. Mijesh is a good dude.
I've met him. We met him actually.
Due to the change in the mechanics, some ships will receive an increase of radar for their duration. So hang on to your hats. The Black going from 20 to 22 seconds. The Hin Shin Yang going from 15 to 20. Chung Moose from 17 to 22. The Yu Yang from 20 to 25. The Donskoy going from 20 to 25. Kronstadt is also going to 25 seconds. Moskva and Stalingrad are going to 30 seconds base. All right. So
I don't even think that's the biggest change. I don't think
that's a minor change, but let's talk about those changes right now. If we're going to go ahead and talk about these changes, let's talk about them in the current instance, right? This is ridiculous.
It's a lot of seconds.
That's a lot of seconds. My biggest complaint about the radar in its current state is the fact that it goes too far and it lasts way too long. Like you got some of these guys going at minutes. You have a minute of freaking radar that this DD has nothing to do, and there's no counter for it, and there's still no counter for this thing. So the only counter is to not be at 10 kilometers.
They've kind of so some things that haven't been said, and if you think they're too long now, it's only going up.
Oh, I know. Yeah, here let's go ahead and do this. Radar changes of the American heavy cruiser line: Baltimore 10, Buffalo 10, Des Moines 10, Indianapolis 10, Alaska 10, Wichita says 9, but it remains the same. I don't. Wichita's not
Salem and the Wichita stay the same.
8.5 and 9. And then the British cruisers 10, 10, 10, Edinburgh, Neptune, Minotaur, Belfast at 8.5.
Yeah.
We don't need longer radar.
And they try to counter that with 6-second delay.
I don't know. I don't know if 6-second delay is the right call. Maybe longer, maybe shorter, but you also don't want to nerf radar into the ground, but you don't want it to make it so overpoweringly effective that we have what we have now, because it's ridiculously overpowered. I still think that the most balanced ship in the game with radar is the Salem, because you have to risk something to get that thing off. So if you just cut it all down to 8.5 or 9, maybe 9 max, then it opens up the game for a little bit more versatility in play. With the Baltimore, Buffalo, Des Moines going to 10 kilometers. That's even more area for that Des Moines to sit behind that island to do absolutely nothing, and have no risk for him to ever use his radar. There's got to be some kind of balance, right? You're giving battleships choices on its AP versus HE. You give everybody else all these different choices, but radar you have no choice.
Wargaming's balance in this, the Warships balance is that 6-second delay. That's the only thing that they've offered as any kind of. And this
now, guys, these are all preliminary numbers. These are subject to change, and they will change. I'm guarantee you they will change. These are not the final numbers, because this has not even gone to testing yet.
I use, like a lot of people though, I use my radar more so for my team than for myself, because a lot of times my teammates are going to have angles on ships that I might be closer to the target, but I might not be able to hit them, whereas my teammates. So that 6-second delay is definitely going to affect that. And increasing all of the radar durations by 5 seconds, I think you're still going to lose. I think you're really actually losing a second in some scenarios where you can't fire on a ship. So that's what I think about it.
See, you know what? You're right. I mean, you can't nerf it into the ground, right? How long with what they have said that they have tried out before, changing the line of sight, which is another something stupid that they happened today. With the changing of the way the line of sight works, and them attempting to make it to where radar can't go through islands and stuff, didn't really work for the game. Changing to where whoever has the radar loses loses accuracy versus a radar boat. That didn't really work out because there was no way to legit balance it to where it was perfect. It was either going to be it's too much or not enough. There was no middle ground on that. So this is a good first attempt at fixing the problems with radar. It's a good first attempt, though we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes, and honestly, I'm more excited for the I just feel like the DDs are just getting nerfed all around.
They deserve to get nerfed.
Especially with the interface improvement coming out.
Now check this out. There's something. No, wait a second. We could go into this if you want to.
I'm not against it. I'm just calling it out. I'm just calling it out.
With everything that has come up over the past couple of patches, you got either way, the battleships have been nerfed into the ground, and it's only helped destroyer, and build them up. This is a good counter to all of those buffs that the destroyers have gotten. Sure. They need to, and that's making the cruisers a little bit stronger versus destroyers, or maybe even buffing the destroyers at this point because they're going to be able to survive a little bit longer. So this is not a nerf to the destroyers. This is a buff to the destroyers.
No, this is a buff to the destroyer. But
yes,
we haven't gone over the interface improvements yet. They are. I don't know if you want to go over that.
Yeah.
But they are nerfing anybody with torps, man.
Yeah. Radar range. Let's go back here real quick. As a result of all these changes, cruisers will increase their effectiveness versus destroyers. We already knew that. Radar range has been standardized for all across the cruisers. Radar range of Soviet cruisers Chappie, Dmitry, Kronstadt, Stalingrad has been increased from 11.7 to 12 kilometers. So now it's a 12 flat. And the radar range of American light cruisers Cleveland, Seattle, Worcester remain the same at 9 and 8.5 for the Atlanta. This is okay. Fine with me. Worcester does not need big radar. We don't need another invisible firing radar like the Minotaur is, and that's fine. The Minotaur deserves it. It needs it.
And the Atlanta does not need any more buffs at all.
Now, I always find it funny when people think that the Atlanta is so strong. It's not overpowered at all. It literally, it's probably one of the weaker cruisers in there. It's just the rate of fire that it fires out. I think that's what. I think that's what people do. Because speaking of another thing, man, I just hit 2 million experience in my Atlanta.
Oh my god,
it's amazing. Also, it's amazing. I love that boat. That's my favorite boat in the game. Let's see. Also wanted to let you guys know about the way the radar icon is. It will change. You will now see if it's radar or Hydra, which I thought they were supposed to fix that a while ago. But either way, now they're actually going to implement this to where it's radar or Hydra. And I would like to actually see. This is a good change. I would like to see. Okay, I'm on Hydro. Oh no, I'm on radar. Now I know exactly what's up, so I know how long it's gonna last. If I need to make moves or if I need to sit, whatever. That's fine. I'm okay with that. All right. So what do you guys think about radar changes? Good for the game, bad for the game? Opinions on it? We've talked a little bit about it. We kind of touched on it. We can go into more detail if you guys want to. But the next thing that I wanted to talk about was a new mechanic in the game. Taking an existing mechanic and kind of shifting it around a little bit. And we're talking about flooding. What do you think about this? Would you want to read this?
I'm excited about it because I'm not really a big DD player. All of my DDs I own, premium DDs. And I love my DDs a lot, but as a main battleship player, I am for this 100%. 150%. Yeah, I'm for.
Yeah. So basically, the new flooding mechanics will be implemented with similar to the fire mechanics. The ship can suffer 2 floods only on the front and then the back halves. Flooding cannot be inflicted on part of the ship that is already flooding. So, for people that are already on floods, you can turn your nose into something, take it, get flooded, turn your nose into the next one, and take that one, and you will not flood. You still take the damage, but you will not flood. So that's actually all right. Flooding, let's see. Flooding duration without modifiers has been reduced to 30 seconds. It will remain from has been reduced. 30 seconds remain for the Seabees, from 90 to 40 seconds to other classes.
That's a big chunk of change.
Well, I mean, it's already a minute and a half for everybody, right?
Yeah.
It's a little overpowered, and I think this is what they said, that they wanted to make one flood not such a big deal to where it would sink the ship, because I was in the Navy. Flooding can do some serious damage to your ship and cause you to sink, but the amount of time that it would take to do that is not a minute and a half.
Yeah, it's
it's a long time.
At the current rate, I mean, a
like
battleship
60%?
taking a torp, it's like 50k damage almost, if not stopped.
Well, I believe the ratio currently is like 60%. I believe.
Yeah, there's an example in there too for like a conqueror.
I can't remember. The rate of hit points. So this is moving forward. The rate of hit points lost with one flooding has been reduced from 0.667% to 0.25% per second for Seabees, 0.5 for battleships. Kronstadt and Stalingrad, Ozuma, and Alaska cruisers will all be at 0.5. 0.25 for second cruisers and destroyers, and 0.375 for Admiral Graf's Bay and the High School Fleet Admiral Graf's Bay. Why that's different, I don't know. It's got more health, I guess.
That's kind of weird. And they try to counter this with there's kind of a give and take here, and basically flooding is going to leave you dead in the water pretty much. Flooding will reduce the power of the engine of any ships when moving forward by 30% and when moving back by 60%.
It already cuts your forward momentum by a lot. In its current state. So here's the example that they gave. The British Conqueror gets flooding on the bow because it's hit by a torpedo. The pre-work flooding would cause 49,800 damage if it's not stopped. The new flooding would cause much less damage at 16,000. Two simultaneous floodings would still cause less damage at 33,200. I think this is a change that's been needed for a long time. Battleships you set off a fire, you've got half of your hit points left. You put off. You're on 3 fires. You hit it. You hit a torpedo, and then you flood for the rest of it.
And you're fucked.
And I'm like, that's so frustrating. But this is actually a buff toward battleships. This is a buff toward a lot of things, which is good. It's finally we're gonna grasp at something, because they've hit battleships really hard lately. With the nerfs. So this is a good thing. What overall, guys? What do y'all think of the flooding mechanics and how they are now versus what they're going to? Go ahead and leave it into the chat there, and we will get to those a little bit later on.
Okay.
So. Man, as for cruisers and DDs, the flooding damage goes down even further for them. Here's another example for a Kagero. The pre-work flooding would cause up to 9,000 damage, probably killing or partially damaged ship. The new flooding takes about 1,500 damage. So that's a buff for them. That's a huge buff for them, because I hit 2 torpedoes last night and flooded out in the DD, and if I hadn't hit that second torpedo, I would have been just fine. But it's definitely.
So they got a buff with taking torpedoes, but they ultimately, destroyers and torpedo launching cruisers like the Perth got a pretty significant nerf with this update coming out. So
explain.
Well, we just read it about how they're gonna be dealing out. You're gonna see a lot less damage being dealt with your destroyers now, especially if you're not like a Russian DD, like those gunboats, and you rely on those torpedo hits.
You rely on the floods and the torpedo damages and
the sink shit.
Well, good.
Yeah, it sounds like you're for it, man.
Screw them DDs, man. They've been buffed over the last 6 months.
If they implemented this, honestly though, like with our talk about ranked, going back to that, if they implemented this tomorrow, would you still play the destroyer for tier 9?
Yes, 100%.
All right.
You could still go cap.
Yeah,
you could still be pretty effective. You're just gonna have to hit more torpedoes now. which is not something that I ever count on in a destroyer, is actually hitting torpedoes. They're always there,
Yeah.
and I usually play them for area of deniability torps is what I usually play them for. I don't ever count on my torpedoes to hit. So when people say, "Oh, the Fletcher's got the greatest DPM in the game," and I'm like, I don't really care about the DPM. I do not care about torpedo DPM. It does not make that much of a difference versus this one or that one, because what's the actual percentage that you're going to hit? How many, if you fire out 100 torpedoes, how many are you going to actually hit? 7, 8, 9? I don't know. It depends. It's different for different people, right? So, and maybe that's my limited, not really, I wouldn't say limited play, but it's just my experience that I really don't count on that at all to hit torpedoes.
Okay.
Want to change your mind? You really think that this is such a bad thing for DDs? I mean,
do I?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's probably the biggest change we've seen in a long for destroyers. So yeah, I mean, that's a pretty significant nerf in my opinion. But what does that matter? Look, we've got Doctor in here, and they're not a fan of it. So I don't know, man. I'm curious to see how it plays out.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said about what is a destroyer's job out there.
Right.
What is a DD's job to do? What is your job as a DD? What do you think?
I mean, I mean, you definitely want to get up there, early cap spotting. I mean, that's definitely the role of a destroyer, in my opinion. I mean, on paper, I mean, it's just a numbers game on paper. You know, how you play the ship, is what makes or breaks the game. So
right. Well, my it depends on what destroyer you're playing. If it's is this going to hurt a kebab? No, because you don't give a shit about your torps. Is this going to hurt a shimmy? Yeah, it's going to hurt a shimmy. Is this going to hurt? Is this going to hurt any of the gunboats? No, not really. Is this going to hurt the Kagaros, the Yugobos, the Shiriatsuyus? Yes, it's going to hurt them because they rely a lot on their torpedoes to get their damage done. And now you're taking away potential damage. So where's the offset? Do they take this away and buff the torpedoes to where they hit 3 for 60,000 damage again? That's stupid. That's way too much damage. So they're bringing it back in line where with everything else, I think I'm all for this change. Torpedoes have been a bane of the existence of this game because there's no consistency with them. You'll hit 20,000 damage from a shimmy peed, and the next one that you hit is 7,000 damage or 15,000 damage.
What's a good counter you think
to that?
They could
be behind islands.
This update.
Oh.
Well, like you think decreasing the reload time or making it quicker to reload torps, you think, by even just a few seconds?
You know what? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what a good counter is. Like, if you're going to take away something, you have to give them something in return. I'm all for taking something back, give it in return. They have not really done. They have not really said anything about giving anything back to them. This is just a straight up nerf to them, and it's it's not really nerfing the torpedo damage at all. It's nerfing the flooding capabilities, right?
Right. I don't think reducing the power of engine ships is.
Well, I mean, it's always done that, so it's fine.
Yeah.
There's really no change. It's always reduce the capability of your engine because you're dragging more weight. So I don't know what would be a good one. I don't think giving them more damage is the answer. Flooding it just needs to be nerfed. I mean, it's ridiculously strong and overpowered. I mean, in the current state of the game, if you're very rarely do you get Liquidator. How many times do you guys get Liquidator where you guys flood somebody out? I don't think that's going to be an issue. That achievement right there should probably just go away because good luck getting Liquidator now. So that achievement should go away. Maybe they figure out, hey, if you've done 50% of the flooding, maybe they'll give you a reward of that, Right. But you have to hit them. But I think a lot of people are going to be upset about this change. But let's also realize that you're not the only one dropping shots on this guy. You're going to set him on fire. There's going to be games where you do get a lot of flooding damage. It just not as much as what it used to be. Simply for the fact of people are going to be cycling their damage control parties all the time. So you might hit a flood and it might flood out the whole entire thing. So
I'm not sure Azura about the Asashio. I think this is an across the board nerf on destroyers.
It's across the board nerf on floods, not just destroyers, but floods. Period. It will hit the destroyers hardest. Let's put it that way, because that's where a lot of their damage comes from. But the reality, I'd have to look at my stats. In reality, I really don't think that there's that many liquidators. I've got over 13,000 games. So who knows? I think 7,000 of those are in destroyers. So, I don't know. Once, twice, maybe 4 times. I don't know. I couldn't tell you how many liquidators I've got. I think I've got more liquidators on cruisers than I have on DDs.
On destroyers?
Yeah.
Probably got a few.
I'd say after 7,000 games, maybe 20. Maybe 20. I'd have to look it up, though. We'll look it up later on tonight.
Yeah.
Look it up later on tonight. So there you go. So people are going to have to figure out what they want to do with their damage control party even more. This is where I say that maybe they should look at shifting some of the damage control party numbers. There's a damage control party mod that you can get out of the store for coal, and maybe unilaterally buffing that party. Maybe they also add something to that fire prevention and call it fire/flood prevention, and you can only be flooded once.
And guys, these aren't updates. What we're talking about isn't coming out. It's not in the patch notes. These are work in progress. These are still subject to change and things like that. So
yeah, I'm not sure when this is coming out. This was just something that they this was a radar change and a flooding mechanic change that they released not too long ago that I found important that I wanted to talk about here on the podcast. But either way, moving forward.
The big one. Are we talking about the big one?
Yeah, we can if you want to, unless there's anything else that you want to. Last comments on the flood. Let's do this. Last comments for the flooding chance.
Yeah, I don't have any last comments on.
Last comments on the flooding for me is, guys, pay attention to your damage control party, man. If you know there's a DD in the area, if you're paying attention to your mini map, you can pretty much tell where a torpedo is coming from. And so if you're on fire and you're in a big to do, maybe you hold off on your damage control party a little bit more so you can really starve those DDs out for damage, because they don't need any more than they already get now.
Yep.
There you go.
Definitely want to keep an eye on this and see where this update progresses.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I mean, this is not even in testing yet, so these are all preliminary numbers. And if it's not good enough, then they'll fix it. If it's too good, then they'll nerf it even more. So this is just pre numbers that they've released out there. This is what we're thinking, and we will adjust from there. So either way, let's move on to the biggest things here. The new patch that hits tomorrow at this point, as this is January the 29th, the last day before the carrier rework. I want you guys to understand that this carrier rework is going to happen whether you like it or not. Yep. And I also want to preface this entire thing to understand that it is going to be absolutely terrible. It is going to be probably the worst experience of your life for the next month and a half in this game till you figure out how many players are going to continue on to being CV mains, and they're going to continue on to learn how to play the game, to learn how to play CVs properly. You are going to get a buttload of really bad CVs on your team, and there's going to be a lot of them.
Oh yeah.
So understand, for the next month and a half, the game is going to be pretty bad for people aren't in CVs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There you go. There's the preface. There's the big nonsense.
I'm gonna be not so popular opinion. Okay, you guys ready for this?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm excited for this update.
I'm excited for this update too. You're not the only one.
I'm really excited for it because I like playing CVs. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. Finish.
I like playing CVs currently. I think you play it completely different. It's like a different game when you jump into a match as a CV, and I don't know, man. I think this is going to encourage people. I think this is going to encourage non-CV players currently to play and get their hands on the CV. Can we get a ban on Surly, please?
I think I think there's a lot of things out there. I think that in the CV's current state, now I agree. Now this isn't my original statement, but in the current CV states that right now the CVs are terrible right now. They're ridiculously strong. They're ridiculously overpowered. They're dumb. They have the one-shot capability on ships that have no business being one-shot. The AA is too inaccurate, and it's too much of a joke. And the only reason people want to keep it the way it is because nobody plays CVs on the NA server.
No one.
Like you don't understand at how if you had a CV in every game, if you literally had a CV in every game, you would see how bad that these things are. There's really not much that you can do in this current state to how awesome the CVs are and how much power they have, how much potential damage, how much perma spotting that you can do on the other DDs.
All of my friends who are CV mains absolutely hate this update with a passion, dude.
But yeah, it's putting them back in line.
Yeah, like they absolutely, and it's mainly because of the style of game they play. A lot of them come from that RTS style gameplay, StarCraft, and they find it refreshing that they have an RTS like mechanic built into Warships. Well, they're basically taking that out completely. So
I enjoyed the RTS. It was a change of pace and something fresh, and which is still this new interface that you're getting with the third person flying of your planes. It's a total different mechanic, and until people actually get their hands on this thing and go through and put hundreds and hundreds of games into this thing, people are going to be bad. People are going to complain because it's new. People don't like change. I'm one of those guys that don't like change. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about the current state of CV versus what it could potentially be, and I could see the light at the end of the tunnel of what they're trying to do here and trying to accomplish. I think the CV change is going to be good. I actually think it's going to be a good thing because what we have now is shit. It's terrible. And if anybody wants to get upset for me for saying it's shit right now, it's terrible right now. And it has been so bad for such a long time and so overpoweringly strong. I am glad that they decided to do something about it. Maybe they went to the extremes, but I'm glad that they did something about it.
Do you play on the, have you played them at all? Have you tested them out, took them out for a spin on the BTR?
Nope.
At all? I tried to this past weekend, but I just for some reason I couldn't get my thank you for acknowledging him. At least I tried to get on, but for some reason the PTR wasn't up, so I couldn't test it out. I wanted to take him out for like a trial run before this stream, but unfortunately I wasn't able to.
No, I would like to. AA is still going to be a touchy subject in the current state of the game right now. AA is so inconsistent. Sometimes you shoot them all down, the next time you don't shoot any of them down, or you shoot them down as on their way out after they make the drop. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they balance the AP bombs. I know when you have some of these boats are ridiculous. I honestly think that all these premium boats that need to come out there that are coming out just need to go away. Give everybody the Saipan money back. Give everybody the Kaga money back. Just get rid of them because they're too strong. They've got too many planes in their targets. Some of them drop 12 torpedoes out on you. I thought that was what we were trying to get away from, dropping all of these goddamn torpedoes. That much amount. I don't care if they only hit for 4,000, but if you could drop 12 of them, that's a lot of dots.
They're getting rid of all that. They're getting rid of that with this.
Honestly, they just need to take all the premiums out of the game for now. Just straight up take all the premiums out, because you know there's going to be there's going to be people out there that are going to be at nothing but Enterprise the entire time, nothing but Kaga the entire time, and they're stupid. And it's a dumb mechanic to have something that is so overpoweringly strong that the people at the normal lines can't even compete with them.
Yeah, you know, I'm pretty sure, like, for those that aren't fans of this, that are main, CV mains, and they're not fans of this update, I'm pretty sure here's a link that you guys might find interesting. I'll post it in the chat. But I believe they're offering full refunds on any and every ship that you guys got, including premiums.
Yeah, they are.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. So you guys aren't hung out to dry with your current.
So with the way that the mechanics are working on this, it's gonna be a while. AA is still kind of questionable under tier 6 or 7. It's okay.
Yeah.
From everything that I've seen, tier 8 through 10, 8, 9, and 8 and 10, 8 gets pooped on by tier 10s, and then 10s just absolutely raffle stomp everything. You can't shoot down enough planes for your AA to be even considered to be effective. But with that being said, we don't know if people have set up for their planes. I don't know. Have you set up for full AA spec? Did you even have your AA button on? There's been a lot of instances, and there's going to be still a little bit of RNG done into this. My only issue with the way the CV rework is going is, how good of a player are you going to be, Josh, where you can dodge every bit of that flak that's out there? Number one. Number two, if you can dodge every bit of that flak, there is a guaranteed damage at the short range AA. You can drop before you get to that and take absolutely no damage. And then all you have to do is, once you make your drop, you hit F, send that squad back. You basically get out for free.
Yeah, and you can
launch another squad.
I'm really excited about this update. I'm really excited about it. And they've also updated the graphics too on it, to where when you're controlling your planes and you got a ship shooting at you, the flak is kind of in your face, and it looks pretty dope. But yeah, your fighters are they're now that you proc whenever
consumable. He says you're cutting in and out. It's not you. It's probably the Discord connection.
Yeah, the fighters, I'm pretty sure. Let me scroll down to where
the fighters are a consumable.
They're a consumable now, to where that's basically that, and your AA are going to be your only defense against incoming torpedo and dive bombers. So
right. So I still have reservations about it. I don't think that it's going to be all that bad. I don't think it's going to be fantastic. But what we have now is going to be better than anything that what we have now. Anything's going to be better than what we currently have. As moving forward, the next section of that is my concerns. How many dots are they going to put out there? Is it just going to be one long stream of bombardment planes, to where even if I do happen to maneuver, there's nothing I can do? I'm just going to take damage? I hate that, because that takes even more of my skill that I've gathered, my averageness, and throws it out the window even more. They're making this game very non-skill friendly, and only skill right now, and I've said it before, 70% RNG and 30% of this game is skill, based on where you put your shots, or when you pull your trigger, number one, where your position is relative to the enemy, and understanding the flow of the game. That's it. And they're taking even more of that skill and shrinking it even more, and you're putting it up to more RNGs. Now, how much of that CV skill is going to play a factor? Probably is going to be a little bit. It's going to shift that balance to that CV skill, but for the most part, man, this is whole bunch of RNG. So they take out all the alpha damage on the torpedoes and the bomb hits, and then they put it right back in there with all the amount of dots that you have.
Yeah, and they're losing their CV survivability. First of all, the first few weeks that this patch comes out, you're definitely going to want to try to take advantage of as much AA defense as you can, because there's going to be a lot of people out there not playing on the PTR, and they're going to be taking CVs.
So what you're
out
saying
and
is I
testing
should
them.
just go play the Atlanta for the next 2 weeks. Just nothing but the
Exactly,
Atlanta,
just play
nothing but the
Atlanta.
Flint.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's exactly right. It just take it out and just spec all AA defense and just make these guys never want to touch a CV again. And so that's as a CV player, they focus more on as a CV player, you're going to need to focus more on your ship survivability, because there's no more real auto dropping anymore.
Which is good. They should never have done
Right.
auto drops to begin with.
Well, yeah, and when your ship is, you're in a shit show, you can easily just take all your planes and do a last minute auto drop somebody. I've gotten several kills doing that.
Yeah,
it's kind of come in clutch several times, but
auto dropping
yeah.
is definitely a mechanic. I think auto dropping is the wrong mechanic for some things. It's good for some areas.
Yeah. There's gonna
go ahead.
There's gonna be a lot less focus on your ship, I think. So you're definitely gonna want to maybe not be as close. I know a lot of aggressive CV players currently like to get right up in there in the guts of the battle. You're definitely gonna want to maybe stay away from the fighting for a bit, just because you're going to now be manually, it's either one or the other. You're either controlling your ship or you're controlling the planes, and a lot of CV players now can really do both with ease at the same time. And so while you're in that plane and you're across the map trying to get a good drop on some ship, your CV could be just getting ripped up, and that's definitely going to leave you vulnerable. So
I can't wait till this comes out. I mean, it's not supposed to be out till tomorrow. I believe the patch goes down tonight. I don't know, man. I don't know. From a lot of things I've seen, let's talk about AP bombs. Let's talk about the AP bombs here a little bit. AP bombs in the current state are stupid. I'm sorry, they're just ridiculously overpowered. They do way too much damage. There's too many of them in a squadron, and AA is not good enough on some of these boats that are susceptible to these AP bombs. That how many times have you guys seen a Bismarck or a Tirpitz just one shot by a Midway? There's no reason for that, number one. Number two, Tier 10 should never see Tier 8 carriers. They are Tier 8 boats and vice versa. Tier 8 carriers should never see Tier 10 boats. I find it grossly inefficient for CVs to go +2, -2. They should be +1, -1, because the other boats, they're either too overpoweringly strong for Tier 6s, or they're not strong enough for Tier 10s. You know what I'm saying? So their planes aren't good enough. It's just right. a bad matchmaking. It's bad matchmaking. It's bad mechanic, and Tier that would even it out a little bit.
Yeah, Tier 10 ships are really in a caliber of their own, and I'm kind of surprised that you can play against a Tier 10 and a Tier 8. Like, it just doesn't.
Well, I understand the reason behind it, right? So the original onset of the original onset of this game, Tier 10 was a rarity, right? So what they did with the matchmaking is they threw the matchmaking out there, saying, let's get all these Tier 10s, let's get them rewarded because they grind out the game or paid double wheeled their credit cards and fucking Tier 10. And so let's go ahead and throw them into the games first. So let's pull from that Tier 10 pool first, and then let's go ahead and fill out the numbers with whatever's left. So what they've tried to do, I don't think they've implemented this yet, but they have swapped it to where it will pull from Tier 8 first, and then fill up from the bottom up. So you're going to see you're still going to see Tier 10 games, but the ratio between Tier 8 games to Tier 10 games is going to kind of even out. Because right now I am seeing 68% of my games at Tier 8 are Tier 10 games. And we tracked that over 100 games. 68 of those games in Tier 8, these were played during peak times. These were played during, pretty much peak time, but the normal stream time. Here at twitch.tv/servantofmike. Anyway, they used to say 68 of those games were played at Tier 10. A handful of them were played at Tier 8, and then just a very small were played at Tier 9 max. So
Who counted all that? Did you have a spreadsheet and everything when you did that?
I just ticked it off on the fucking board when I played one. Up tier 10, bang.
That's pretty impressive.
I kept track of it. It's in my book here somewhere. Yeah. Actually, I turned right to the page. There's a lot of them anyway. Anyway, it's right there. But either way.
That's cool.
How do you think? What about these AP bombs? What do you think about these AP bombs? Have you ever been on the receiving end of an AP bomb drop to where you go from 60,000 hit points to 10,000 hit points?
No, because most of the higher tier ships I play are all battleships anyway, and so I never really.
Right.
I've never been.
So you've never been in that Bismarck and got wrecked off the map from a Graf Zeppelin or a Midway.
Correct. Yep. I don't think it's ever happened.
You've never happened to you? Well, I know a lot of people have happened. I've seen it happen.
Again, I don't have as many games under my belt as
True.
you, so I'm not saying it.
Right.
Not to my recollection. So.
In the new instance of AP bombs, the AP bombs are coming off of the Americans and they're going on to the Japanese. And you are going to get one AP bomb per plane, but you get some of these carriers will be having multiple squadrons and 2, 3, 4, 5 bombs in a flight. Still, 5 bombs can still do way too much damage. Honestly, I thought that they were just going to get rid of the AP bombs. I think AP bombs are have no business being in this game. They're too strong. I don't care how much you nerf it. They have the ability to Citadel a plane and Citadel a boat and give them too much damage. Now,
that's right. Yep.
With the nutting of the beautiful, all the alpha damage that the CV has happened to them, is it going to make a difference? Do you think that it's going to make a difference?
I don't think so. I mean, they got to do something to the Japanese line anyway.
The Japanese line is strong.
Super strong.
Strike-wise.
Yeah. Super strong right now. But with the update, I mean, there's not really anything setting them apart other than the AP bombs, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, there you go. I mean, there's not much difference between them at all, right?
Yeah.
They got rockets on them. We can talk about rockets now because those things are ridiculously stupid. I don't like these at all either because they're just going to put more fires on all the battleships, and I'm already on 92 fires a game from the HE spam. So what do? How's the mechanic for the CV coming in? We're coming in, we're just going to send out our rockets. You can spot the entire map. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's blap this DD. DDs have no choice. They can't do anything about it. They can't turn. Their AA sucks. So they're just going to be damaged sponges.
Right.
And you're going to efficiently and take away the entire DD line. Which I don't understand why. I mean, because the spotting is based on the CV and his damn rocket planes. So you send out all your rockets onto this one DD, he dies. Okay. How much fun was that for the DD?
Well, so I may not have read this, but can you take out enemy AA using your rocket planes?
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to be a big...
Right. So smart CV players are going to be out there. Anytime that you are hit with an HE spam, you lose AA mounts. You just lose them; they're gone, and they will not regenerate. Right? When you dude, don't you dare say fire prevention because that thing is such a waste of points. Fire prevention is such a waste of points, man. It doesn't do enough. Whoa, but you can now go with me here. You can spec out for preventative maintenance. Preventative maintenance is a 1-point skill that ups the survival ratio on your AA mounts, secondary mounts, battery mounts. All your modules, those are considered modules. It ups those abilities. You can also go in and up the secondary battery modules or the AA modules. Overall, I mean, there's things that you can do to counteract you losing all of these things. I'm interested to see how this actually works. A good CV player is going to go out there. He's going to take his rockets. He's going to spot the map within a minute and a half because they're like the really, really quick flying planes.
Yep.
And then he's going to go drop on a battleship. He's going to drop his rockets on a battleship. He's going to knock out so much of his AA, and then he's going to set him on fire. Mm-hmm. Those fires are going to burn. The next thing you know, he just hits F. He launches his torpedo planes. You can't shoot down those planes when they're going back because I think that's stupid too.
They just fly straight up. The air.
They go straight up out of the AA effective range. That's dumb. I'm sorry.
That's right.
That guy is not risking squat bringing his stuff back. I'm sorry, that's not fair.
Agree with that at all.
That's not fair. That's not fair to the guys that have been sitting there trying to shoot these guys down. Okay. But and before somebody's like, but do you have to? It's like 5 minutes before they get back to the plane and they're ready to go again. I don't give a shit. He should lose those planes. Right. I have to use my damage control party. Wait for the next onslaught to come in, which if he's close, the next onslaught comes pretty goddamn fast. I get hit by 8 torpedoes, now I'm flooding, and I can't do anything about it. Dots are too much in this game. This game is shifted from skill and AP to nothing but HE, and how many fires can you get on somebody?
I don't want to say anything else negative. I personally don't want to say anything else negative until I play it and get my hands on it.
Right. Well, this is not a negativity. This is just this is my concerns. All right. So I'm expressing my concerns about the CV rework because at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, I have not played them. So this might all be unfounded nonsense, but this is my concern with the game. This is my concern with the CV rework. Am I against it? No. Do I like everything about it? Not right now. I don't because of my concerns. Right. And until they release, I can't sway or confirm or deny any of these. So, moving on. Any thoughts about what I've said?
I mean,
anybody? I've gone off on this long rant about how the CV rework is terrible and blah blah blah. Here. I'm enjoying that they're actually making an effort to make these things that are pretty big. Let's be fair, they're pretty big in the world of warships and World War II. They were the king. I think, but this is a game, and they have to balance it out to where it's fun for everybody. I don't care if this guy's having fun or not, but I just want it to be balanced. All right.
Malkin hates Seabees. Just absolutely hates them, man. Doesn't want him in the game anymore. It's a warship. You can't leave it out. It's a warship.
They've actually, being a community contributor, were privy to certain chats that a lot of people weren't, and that was one of the just take them out, man. These things are terrible. These things are awful. The rework's not going to go the way you want it to. It's going to be the death of everything. Everybody's fear-mongering this nonsense. It's going to be the death of warships. I'm never going to play again. Well, good riddance. If you don't ever play again, fine, go away.
I'm kind of curious to hear what I've not talked to Fem about it at all. But she's been
pretty aloof with her opinions. She thinks they're fun. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But anyway, Sub-Octavian did say in a not NDA form that CVs are going to stay in the game, so just shut up about removing the CVs. They're going to be in the game. Now, you might not like them. But hey, they're going to be there, and you have to learn how to deal with it, and you have to learn how to shift your mentality, shift your focus. Maybe even put on nothing but AA builds anymore. I mean, how long has it been since we actually built for a full AA spec Montana? I don't.
I'm telling you, the first few weeks of this update, first month, just nothing but AA. You're going to get your commander points back. Go ahead and take advantage of that. You're going to get possibly some modules. A lot of people are going to get some refunds back. Take advantage of it. Equip your AA out. You know what I mean? And just ride the wave and see what happens.
I don't know. I think
I wish I had more advice for people other than that.
Yeah, it's I want this. All right. So this week on the podcast, we wanted to talk about all the fears, right? This is all of my fears for it. Josh, what are your fears for it? And I know. Go ahead and make speculations here because this is a purely speculatory system or pure speculatory podcast because I have not played it. They have not released yet, so we don't know. So let me get what your fears are, and then next week.
Next week?
No. Go ahead.
My biggest fear is that they're going to be too overpowered. I play CVs, but at the same time, I don't main CV. I don't play them all the time, and yeah, that's my fear. That's just my fear. I mean, I think that's a lot of people fear with any big update.
Overpowering is very wide and subjective.
Yeah.
Okay, so narrow it down. Why are you afraid? What part about are you afraid of that they're going to be overpowered?
Mainly the AA. Like, I just, from what I've been reading, AA is not going to last very long, especially against a halfway decent CV player. You're just going to be left completely, and this is just me putting on my tinfoil hat, living in a bunker somewhere.
Well, that's the idea behind this segment.
Going
tinfoil hat theories.
It's going to be completely useless, and I'm just going to get absolutely nuked by a halfway decent CV player. I'm just going to be left dead in the water. And then, not to mention the, I think we just got to hold out if those interface updates that we were talking about earlier in the stream, if those take with the torpedo nerf, we just got to kind of hold out for that. Otherwise, we're taking full torpedo damage all day long, every match that you play for at least the next few months, at least the next couple months. So that's my biggest fear.
Well, it's going to go, like I said, it's going to go like this for the next couple of months, for the next 2 months. It's going to be nothing but CVs in queue. You're going to see 80, 90, 100 CVs in a queue.
Yep.
You're going to have good ones. You're going to have bad ones, just like now. You're going to have extremely good ones that make everybody else on the board to seem like little turds. Oh, we're shooting fish in a barrel. That's one of my biggest fears. The people that have actually worked on this through the PTR or PTS, whatever it's called here, the public test server, and the people who like me are going to be learning right now when it drops, because I'm going to be playing it. I know you're going to be playing it. Everybody else is going to be playing it too.
Yeah.
So with my limited knowledge of this, is this going to be a class that I actually want to put time into? I don't know. I'll have to play 10 or 20 games to see if I can get the feel for it quickly. If I can't get the feel for it quickly, then I probably won't play it very often. If I can get the feel for it quickly and I do very well doing what I'm doing, then yes, I'm going to continue to play it, and I'm going to try to be the most average CV player out there.
Yeah.
But then there's going to be those people that get in there, play like crap, and call it a failure, but they've only played 10 games in it, and they've never really tried. They lose all their squads of planes. They lose all their squads of planes. They lose all their squads of planes. Then they're like, you know what? Forget this. This is stupid. And then they run their boat straight on into the cap and then get themselves killed because this is stupid.
Yeah.
Ruining the rest of the game for everybody else. There's going to be those guys. I think the skill floor from somebody who, say, is going to be even wider apart than it currently is now, because you'll have people that will actually play it and get good at it, and then you'll have people that will only play it a little bit, but they won't be very good at it. It's gonna widen that skill gap even further, and I think that's bad for the game. What do you think?
No, I would agree with just about all of that. Yeah. I mean, I don't really have a difference of opinion on that.
Okay.
I wish I did. I wish I could argue with you.
No, I don't want you to argue with me. Just offer up anything here, man.
I agree with that. Smed had come up with a good point. He said, "What about cruiser fighters?" And it's just, I think cruiser fighters are going to remain in there. I think you're going to want to, if you have the ability to equip defensive fire, defensive AA, you're definitely going to want to utilize that. I mean, I guess we just need to wait and see what happens. I'm excited. When, tomorrow I'll be all over that CV rework. I'm definitely going to take it out quite a few times and kind of get my feet wet and kind of go from there.
There's also a couple of somethings that I find a little bit broken. Not necessarily broken, but more along the lines of I don't understand the mechanic of this and why this is in the game. The new CVs have the ability to come out, lock something up, and then drop that, whatever that is, and then hit F and launch another set of fighters, right?
Yep.
Or another set of planes. So what's to stop right before you drop off your last little load? You got 2 planes left in your flight. You drop your torpedoes, whether you hit or not, it's not the point. You hit your little fighter consumable. It goes up in the air and circles in this little zone for a while, attacking whatever's in that zone and spotting everything at the same time. So now you have a mobile spot point that nobody's going to be able to shoot down. That's a concern of mine as well, because you could be like, okay, guys, we're going to fly over here first. Oh my gosh, there's another set of fighters. You pop your little fighter out there, send your planes back to deal, launch another deal. Now you have this little thing over there that's going to stay there. So how long is that going to stay? How long are you going to spot that DD? If that DD's AA is terrible, it's going to spot him permanently. So we're right back to where we started from with the perma spotting.
Mm-hmm. And they could just smoke up and...
In that, how long is the fighter cooldown? How long does that show up?
Well, that's what he's saying. You see, okay.
Well, I'm reading that as well. Okay. How long does that fighter stay on the board?
So the way I was reading it is that you want to utilize your fires purely for a defensive reason. You don't want to.
Fine.
You don't want to take them out, and you don't want to. So
you drop your planes, you switch to the next target, and you lock up that guy's fighters for 30 seconds. But what else does your planes do? I guess it's the mechanic in the CB to where if you're not actively controlling this thing, it has to go back to your CB, right? So if you fine, never mind. Blame my last. There's no concern there because.
God, you suck,
well, I mean, I want to make sure. I want to get it clear for myself, and some people are thinking the same thing because I've read a lot of things. Oh, these guys are just going to be able to drop their shit off out here in the middle of nowhere. It's just going to be like a permanent spotting thing. So I mean, this is we talk through things, man. We got it. I'm not. Yeah.
A lot of people assume the worst, and that's what I love about. I like this section because
look, we're not trying to fearmonger. We're just going with concerns. These are just concerns.
We'll see. We'll have to revisit this though and see kind of where we were at.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely. All right, guys. We're hanging out with my man jequalsjosh over there at twitch.tv/jequalsjosh. You can also hit him up on his Twitter at jequalsjosh. All right, guys, we got a lot of stuff to do here in the Q&A section. If you guys have any more questions, comments, or concerns about anything that we talked about today, please go ahead and type them at Sir MMIK or at jequalsjosh or at one of my mods, and they will link it to me, and I will copy pasta it. Guys, first of all, let me just say thanks, Josh, for coming in and hanging out with us today on the podcast, man. This is episode 15. 15 episodes, man.
That's kind of a milestone number, isn't it?
It's pretty good.
Episode 15. That's awesome. Dude, thanks so much for inviting me. Thanks for having me. It's been a blast. See you, man. Later.
We got some more to do. Just a programming note. We have the next 2 weeks set in stone. Next week on the 6th of February, Wednesday, the 6th of February at 7 p.m., Kami Samurai will be joining us here on the podcast. And then on the 13th, I believe it's the 13th. Hang on, let me make sure. I don't want to say something and it be wrong here. We have another special guest that will come on, and yes, it is the 13th. It is the 13th. Ashley, a.k.a. Ashley, will come on and join us here on the 13th at 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time. So if you guys are interested in that, come on back, guys. Hit me up here, twitch.tv/SirVenomIK, or over on the Twitter at Sir_Venom_IK. So we will be talking next week about after the CB rework and how we think after a week, how it's set in, and then we'll do it again when Ashley joins us in 2 weeks and see how about just a little bit of update and see what you guys are thinking after 2 weeks. So, in 2 weeks, Josh, when Ashley's here, we're going to sit there and we're going to talk to her. And we're going to be like, hey, did it really make a difference, all this fear-mongering that we did about the CV? No, the CV is still terrible.
Got to be an episode to watch, because
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious.
So
I'm
if you
kinda
guys
curious
are...
to see where everybody's at.
So if you guys have any questions with for Kami Samurai or AKA Ashley, please post them in the comment section below for you guys over on YouTube, or you guys could go over and hang out in the channel. Let me know. Send me a private message on YouTube or Discord or anything like that, and we will get those questions asked to them. So there you go. Woo!
I mean, it's got to be pretty quick, Azura. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the general response time for something like this is, but if there's a game-breaking bug or a mechanic that's not working out for, more than half of their players, then they're definitely going to have to address it pretty soon, because
it will be. All right, so the first question we have here is from Fisherton. They should just remove the concealment expert as a skill, as it is a must-have for every build. Not necessarily. I don't use it on some things that people would normally use it on. Personally, I think it's good. It's going to make it's going to tone down some of the like conquerors and stuff like that. It's going to tone down their concealment, and it's going to buff some things that desperately needed concealment, and kind of even things out. I think with concealment,
yeah, exactly right.
All right, good talk.
You took the words right out of it.
All right, so Clay Hole. According to the established tradition, all of your achievements from the previous season are accounted for, so you won't have to start from scratch. Depending on the rank at which you finished the previous season, you'll be granted a certain number of bonus stars. The possible maximum is number 22. If you reach rank 1 in the previous tier 10 season, you will start the new rank season at rank 9. As I've looked, there's only 18 total ranks here, so it's not a full 23 rank season. So yes, you will start at 9. Rewards received for retaining the and preceding ranks will be added to your count automatically. You have to play one game to get that done. Now let's. I wanted to give you the rewards here. 50 Type 3 ranked camouflage patterns, 2,500 doubloons, 5 Hydra flags, 1 copper, and only 1,000 steel. The duration of this new rank season will start January 31st and go till February the 26th, 27 days. So there you go.
2,500 doubloons.
2,500 doubloons.
Ooh-wee. That's what I'm looking forward to the most, though. To be honest,
is it worth it? I don't know.
The doubloons.
Rewards for the ranks: you can get steel, camouflage, you can get special signals, and you can get more doubloons.
What is copper used for?
Copper is used for special camos, like the there are special camos for the flint, for the black that cost 1 copper or 2 copper, whatever.
Oh, I got you. Okay, cool.
I'm not sure. I had to look at the overall ranking. I'll have to look at the overall rewards to tell you how much steel total that you can get. Before hitting rank 1, you get 8,000 steel. Usually it's about 5,000 steel or something like that per season.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
it's pretty close. It's not exactly 5,000, or it might be a little over. Dang it, dude! I just had the number.
So the maps that we're playing on will be Islands of Ice, Trident,
5,500.
Warrior's Path, Sleeping Giant, and Mountain Range. Number 1, I can't stand Mountain Range. That map should not be in ranked ever. The new Islands of Ice is a terrible camp fest, but that's okay because it's an epicenter type map. So and it's an epicenter type mode. So hiding behind islands is going to be beneficial to me as a destroyer. Trident, I like epicenter. I just don't like Warrior's Path, and I don't like Mountain Range.
I'm surprised as a DD you don't like Mountain Range.
I can't stand Mountain Range. I don't know what it is. I just don't like Mountain Range. It's not fun. It's I don't know. I can't really explain it. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some things out there.
Oh, you're gonna stream your ranked play, right?
Oh, all the time.
Okay.
All the time. So we also asked what you guys' tier 9 ranked boats are that you guys would like to play. So if you guys want to type those into the chat now, we will go over those as well. Kolar Holmes says Kitakaze. Fantastic boat. Man, that thing is dirty. We played it last night. Just a hold the button down type of push boat, and lowest detection is 106 is 6.6. So you're not really a capper. You can play outside, maybe spot a guy, get somebody to shoot at you, and then your team can do what they need to do. Zipshot said he's going to play the Iowa. which right up your alley. Iowa's not a bad choice at all.
I think a lot of people. I've seen a lot of Iowa in the chat earlier, so I'm glad I'm not the minority there.
Mortis says the Rune and the Salem, both really strong, but the Salem's a tier 10, so you're not going to play the Salem. Buffalo, let's see. Raven 6 says I'm going to play the Black, the Buffalo, the Iowa, and the Missouri. Smed says Kronstadt or the Rune. Fletcher's a good choice.
Raven. If you had to pick one ship,
Mo and the Kronstadt will be your go-to. All right, so Karog the Fat says a 6-second delay when this is only first used, ? Talking about the radar. Anytime that you push that button, there will be a 6-second delay. So after your second radar, there's still a 6-second delay, not from when you spot it, but from when the rest of your team spots it. So it'll end up trying to counteract that fact that, hey, I'm in the cap, boom, radar. Now I got 8 people shooting at me immediately.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna kind of fend that off a little bit. It's still going to be pretty strong because you do pop up on the mini map for everybody, and they can train their guns that direction and then actually aim after that 6 seconds. So it's a little bit of a survivability buff for the DD, which I think it needs.
Yeah.
But in the end, is it going to hurt them? It's going to wash. Honestly, it's going to be a wash.
Yeah.
It's going to be a wash.
I mean, I think that's probably the biggest. Honestly, I think that's probably the biggest update out of that, or one of them.
The radar change.
The radar delay. Yeah, the radar change overall. I think that's absolutely massive.
They've already done the mechanic. The mechanic's already been in the game with as you guys know, the spotting delay where 5.8 kilometers really meant 5.7 kilometers or 5.6 kilometers because of the time delay between when the guy pops up and when you're actually spotted. That has always driven me nuts about this game. 5.8 means 5.8. He should pop up immediately like it used to. And for some way down the road, they made a change and they didn't tell anybody about it. And then they changed it. Then they said, hey, we're going to make this change, but it was already in. And people were like, oh, this is broken. And I'm like, you've just literally ruined the detection on all of the destroyers. And it really upset me. So this is that mechanic coming back in a different form. You know?
Got Brontosaurus with the Musashi.
Musashi's great.
We're going to see a lot of Musashis, guys.
Well, guys, today's the last day for Musashis. So if you ain't got them yet, you better go get it. Even if you don't like it, go get it because you won't be able to get it again except for Christmas time boxes, maybe out of super container.
Yeah.
So Mortis Damn Lost says fire or flooding. Let's let the flooding help out the fire. let's let the flooding put out the fires. Yeah, that'd be great. Awesome. Evil Dog Beast referring to flood says this is a long needed change. I agree.
I'm for the change. I kind of wish it implements a little bit sooner than. Well, I just kind of wish it. I kind of wish it was coming out tomorrow along with the CV because I think that would kind of nerf the. I think that would kind of ease, at least for me, the CV fears that they're going to be super overpowered.
Right. Seabees are going to be overpowered.
Taking torpedoes.
We're getting people saying the St. Louis, and I still think the St. Louis is going to be a strong in this ranked season as well. Prime's Med53 says, I like the change in flooding, mainly because I play cruisers and battleships. That's a good change. That's a good change.
Wait, read that again? Say that again?
It says, I like the change in floodings because he mainly plays cruisers and battleships. Of course you would. Of course you would. It nerfs DDs.
I'm right there with you.
And I'm glad for it. I rarely ever flood out. Azura says he's a battleship main. He rarely ever floods out. I rarely ever flood out too, so it's really a non-point. DDs will probably see increased damage with the change as well, since people will be more apt to let flooding tick a few times before putting out. Evil Dog Beast. Correct. I won't put them out now. I mean, nope. knowing that flooding is repairable through a heal.
And especially if it's only going to do 16k damage to your ship instead of 50. I'm totally freaking down for that.
There you go.
I mean, if you take two torps, definitely something you want to consider doing. is repairing that. But yeah, definitely. I would still say definitely want to save your repair mainly for fires.
Mortis Law says, I would like to play a cruiser, light cruiser, not go down with just torpedoes. Well, I mean, there's always enough to be said. I mean, like everybody's like, the Japanese DDs are the most nerfed class, and I say no, they're not really. The Japanese DDs are probably some of the strongest DDs out there, just because of their detectability. Their torpedoes hit like a truck already. And somebody will also then say, well, what about the shimmy 20 KPs? They are spotted from the moon. And I'm like, well, they should be. Fuck them 20 KPs, man.
I know.
It's a risk-reward system. Why do you want 20 KPs? So you can meme the shit out of people. I've always, I use those as a meme. I mean, like, I sit there, I like the 20 KPs. I get more hits with the 20 KPs than I do with the 12 KPs. And that's a proven stat for me. But for everybody else, will be like, it's risk reward, bro. The further away, the less risk, the less reward. The closer you are, the more risk, the more reward you get. So in that instance, it fits in balanced where it should be.
Yeah, and if you take a 20K PED, I mean, you deserve to take that PED. In my opinion.
Yeah, you deserve that 20,000 damage that you just got checked with. Regardless of what it feels like, it has to be done with the CV changes, because people will be taking more torpedoes during a game. Yes, absolutely. And this is a Evil Dog Beast has said this, and this is another reason why the flooding change is good, because you're gonna eat torpedoes, because the AA is probably not gonna be good enough. I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. But you are going to eat a lot more torpedoes, so the flooding changes is good, and it will lower some of the damage out there, lower some of the repair party or the damage control party reliance, and maybe you won't die on one flood anymore.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. Doctor says to scout and deny an area, but you still want to get kills in randoms. He's talking about what is a CV4 current state.
No, what a destroyer's role is.
Yeah, okay. There you go. Sure, whatever you say.
I agree with that. I agree with that, Doctor.
Evil Dog Beast says they could just change the plain versions. I don't know what that's referring to there, Evil Dog Beast. I don't remember what that's referring to.
Change the plain versions.
Yeah, I don't know. Azura says, are torps getting flood less than on the Asasio? Has a 400% chance of flood. That's it. The flooding chance, from my understanding, still will remain on all the boats. They will just tick for less, and you can flood them twice now. So that's a thing.
Front half and back half. That's it.
They will need to change the objectives. There are a few where you need to get a certain amount of flooding damage. Yes, these are all objectives where, like in a campaign or something where you need to hit torpedoes and flood people out at the same time. They will have to go in and shift that. If they don't go in and shift that, then some of these things will be extremely hard to accomplish these feats. And then what is the reward for it? Is it just 1 star toward that thing? If they're going to do this and keep it the way it is, they need to up that reward factor a little bit better to counter some of this stuff, because that getting flooding damage is going to be ridiculous.
Got a raid coming, dude.
Did you see any questions that you wanted to approach or say anything?
No, I've kind of been answering them as we go.
Yeah, I know. We weren't supposed to do that. We're supposed to save the Q&A section for the end of the show.
I'm sorry.
Revan6 says, of course, the majority of this game is potatoes, and they keep dumbing it down for them, and they keep on getting worse and worse and worse. I think I've seen a little bit of that through the company, and it's okay. I mean, you got to have it approachable for the everyman. People that get deplaned and run in and get their ships killed on purpose because whatever reason, because they refuse to try to learn how to play the game. You need a section for them, and run it for 11 other guys. You need a section for them but they also, you don't want to take the people. Here's something that a lot of game companies do, and you see it with a lot of different companies, not necessarily wargaming, but they have this population of people that have played the game for a very long time, and they tend to gear new things toward the newer player. They want more player base, and they never really reward the guys for sticking around that have been around for a long time. So everything that we've seen thus far has gotten easier and easier on this graph. Now, is it easier and easier on the graph because we are because they want that? They want it to be easier and approachable for everybody? Or is it because we've played so long, we perceive it as being an easy pickup? This is so easy. I can't believe they're doing this. They're making it so easy. Is it a little bit of both?
Yeah.
So I do feel rewarded for continuing to play at 13,000 games. I'm still learning how to play boats that I just kind of skimmed over when I first went through. There's still stuff for me to learn and grind for and try to achieve in the game. Is that necessarily a bad thing that they're dumbing it down? Because we're going to pick up that mechanic easy? Does that mean that it's dumbed down for us?
Yeah.
I don't know where to go with that.
There's got to be reasons for it. I mean, you see it like Samster says. I mean, you see it with so many different franchises, so many different video games out there. Most recently, World of Warcraft experienced this with, and they're trying to kind of combat that with bringing back their classic World of Warcraft. I don't know if you've seen that. Are you a Warcraft fan at all?
When Warcraft made its debut in 2000 something, I didn't have a computer that would run it. And by the time I got a computer that would run it, the hype had already kind of gone away. So I never really dipped into it.
Well, they've done that. They've slowly kind of catered more towards getting new players into the game than their kind of senior most players. But they're bringing back this classic Warcraft servers. That's kind of bringing back the vanilla WoW. Elite Dangerous does it too, like Samster says. So there's a lot of companies, and it could be declining number. There's reasons for it. They're not just going to make these updates. It could be declining.
Well, there's something to be said. I feel rewarded for the amount of time that I put into the game with my skill knowledge, and I go, okay, yes, I know what I can handle here. I know what I can handle there. These other people don't really have that, but really, how hard is this game to pick up?
Yeah,
it's really not hard to pick up in this game. Now, when you want to talk about something like World of Warcraft, I understand the dumbing down of the game being frustrating for people because you guys spent hours and hours and thousands of hours learning just one character. And learning what goes with this, what should I do now, and learning that experience. Well, that doesn't really fit in World of Warships because it's get into a boat, fire your gun. That's pretty much the basics of this game. Get in a boat, fire your gun, kill the enemy. Now, there's obviously nuances and caveats that you throw in there. Well, this is a cruiser, and this is a battleship, and this is a destroyer, and this is a carrier. Those are the original caveats. Now you go into even more caveats of this is a German, it's good at tanking. This is an American, it's kind of a hybrid tank versus brawler, whatever, a hybrid style of it's good at range, it's good up close. Then you have this one that's good at range but shitty up close. So there's the different caveats that people have to learn, and it's all about people wanting to know how to play these boats and actually trying to play these things to get better.
And if you're willing to put in the time, I mean, one thing I love about this game is that I think it's got a great tutorial system built into it.
That's something I've never heard about this game.
I think so, at least. I mean, it's definitely helped me teach. I've been bringing on a lot of new players to the game within the last few months. And it kind of, I don't know, I find it to be fairly helpful, but I guess I'm in the minority there. That's okay, I'll take it.
But anyway, that's just something that I've been thinking about. I've been pondering about that for a little while, and some games like Diablo 3 and Blizzard is really bad about this, and I played that game for 2,000 hours or whatever, and 1,500 of it on one character. Mm-hmm. At some point in time, after I played 2,000 hours, I looked at the game and realized that somebody new coming in has better chances of getting things drop-wise than I do after I've played for this long. I spent almost a year and a half almost 2 years trying to find one piece of gear that a guy comes in 6 hours in playtime and he gets that piece of gear that I have been grinding for and playing over and over and over again. I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me.
Yeah.
That started the decline of my. I'm like, why is this? So I started looking into different things and seeing how noob friendly that game had become. And I don't want this game to become noob friendly. There's always going to be noobs in whatever tier that you're playing. There's always going to be potatoes. There's always going to be those players that are terrible but don't know that they're terrible and think that you're the problem. There's always going to be those.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you go? What do you do? What's the right option? How are we going to, as a community, teach these new players in some kind of aspect so they can get some kind of goodness behind them? And then there's people that just really don't give a shit.
They don't,
that doesn't matter. I'm just here for fun. Well, guys, I'm here for fun too, and to me, winning is fun. Winning is fun. If I can outmatch somebody, if I can play good, if I can make a mistake and then get myself out of that situation, and then that's fun to me. That's what I want to do. But all on the guise of let's win the game first.
Yeah, and another big part of that is don't be cancerous in chat. You gotta welcome them. Don't report every bad play. If you see them obviously playing like shit because maybe you suspect them not knowing how to play that ship or it might be their first time, don't just absolutely trash them and discourage them from coming back to the game.
I mean, we're all guilty of that.
Try to help them out, maybe at least, or give them some pointers or something, man. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the questions. We still got a lot more to go. Mustang Man, ship fighters are way smarter and more effective. Not sure what that was referring to. Maybe CV rework. I don't know.
Yeah, CV rework. He was talking about the consumable fighters.
No, CV rework changed. CV rework changed nothing. Just look at the CV alpha way down, but they put it right back in as dots. That's from Revan6. Okay, well, fair enough. Grant Y says, all AA will do some guaranteed damage to planes. Long, medium, and short-range mounts consistently inflict a certain number of damage to randomly selected aircraft in the squadron in accordance with the preset frequency. Additionally, long and medium-range AA defenses fire shells that will explode into the air in the squadron's path. If the aircraft moves into that explosion zone, they receive damage. My understanding of the way that this is supposed to read is that you can dodge all of that shit, so you take no damage whatsoever until you get into that guaranteed damage section of the low. I honestly think that they should move that section out based on the drop rates of the planes. Put those planes at risk. They're not really too much at risk, and a good CV player here in about 2 to 3 weeks is going to be able to figure out the patterns of these things, and they're going to dodge them.
Yeah.
And they're going to dodge these things, and then they take no damage coming in, and then they take minimal damage when they get into that short range. But guess what? You've already got 6 torpedoes dropping on you, or however many's in that flight, 2, 3 torpedoes, and you're going to end up taking them all. So,
and then they don't take any damage coming back.
And then they don't take any damage coming out. So I disagree with the whole no taking damage when they hit F and flying straight up. There should be some more risk for those planes to just go back, because if I don't like it, F, boom, and your planes are safe. I'm sorry, that's BS.
Maybe spot them easily. Maybe make them more easier to
planes
when they climb in the air like that.
See, here's the next thing. You can Invisidrop onto DDs.
Right. Yep.
You can Invisidrop onto the DDs. What in the world is up with that? Yeah, come on, man. We already can't see the planes enough as it is.
Right.
Now you're going to give these guys invisible spotting? I mean, come on, man. You can spot me, but now I can't see you. That's one of the worst feelings is you can't spot a plane, and you're spotted. Because now you have no idea which direction to go. And I hate having things taken out of my hands. Like, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die. But I want to be able to actually play the game. You know what I'm saying? But now if I'm getting shot at by a plane that I'm spotted from, I have no idea where it is. I can't focus my AA on the left side or the right side to try to kill this plane because I can't see it. Mm-hmm. How am I supposed to defend myself? It becomes imbalanced and unfair. Azura68 says, what if the current random player base decides everybody migrate to co-op after the rework? Then I know one particular person that would be happy to see more people in co-op. and I'm not going to call out his name. What do you think?
I kind of like co-op. I like operation. Are you talking about operations?
Co-op, just co-op in general. I like operations, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't have a lot of experience in co-op.
Maybe.
I don't think it's gonna deter people away, though. I don't deter people away from playing randoms.
No.
There's just another level of gameplay that you can
I think it was just a troll question, but I'm okay with that. Titan Fox says up to 3 carriers may be maxed in a team for battle. Failfish. Man, I've never really more CVs, fine. I'm just gonna play the Atlanta, I'm gonna play the Krudersoft, or I'm gonna play this new boat that's come out. The Arian has come out, I believe, tomorrow. So for release with this patch. It's got AA. It's a Krudersoft style AA at tier 8. I don't know how's it going to do against tier 10. I have no idea. But we're going to play a lot of AA boats, so we're going to respec some of our boats to do some AA. We're going to do it tonight. Eamon Hurst says there are tons of free-to-play games with more on the way. Only way to sustain the model is by catering to the widest of audiences. And the mostly casual players. People log in a few times a week, spend money on ships, and then move on. Agreed, but you also have to, what is good for the longevity of the game, and those are the people that are the 1%ers, the 2%ers, or whatever, that have played for years and years and years since closed beta, and are currently still playing, and have put thousands of dollars in. And this is where this is the reward system. They don't reward us with newer gameplay. They reward us with balance changes. They reward us with community contributor roles. They reward us with these all these other things like here's a campaign that you can do. Here's some content. I've already ate up all the content in this game currently, and I know Josh, you're getting up there. There's other people out there that have every boat. They have no content left to push. To absorb, and I'm begging for any kind of content. So CV rework is content, so let's go eat that up, and then once we have our fill of that, we'll vomit it back out, and we'll tell you exactly what we think. Tier 9 rank battles is more content, so that's the way they reward the people out. But I do agree, but they can't dumb it down so much to where the guys that are already here don't want to be here anymore. CV players, a good CV player will know what ships have the best AA. They won't be that dumb to go after a good AA ships. That's Azura. It's a moot point in about 2 weeks when people actually figure out what their capabilities of their plane are.
Mm-hmm.
You're
gonna get a lot of
you're
gonna get a lot of new CV players, I think, coming in with this update. Not feeling as intimidated because a lot of people are like, oh, the only way you're going to be good at CV players is if or playing a CV is if you like playing RTS games and da. I've heard that so many times.
No,
say what you will.
I disagree with that whole statement. I know you've heard it, but I disagree with that statement as well, because I like our RTS games. I like the current CV, the way the interface works, but the interface is broke. Yeah, it does not do what you need it to do when you need it to do it. There's a little bit of a delay in some of the actions where you get
right.
So either way, it's still different than any other mechanic in the game, and it's still going to be totally different than playing a battleship or a cruiser or destroyer. It's still going to be totally different. It's still its own unique gameplay, and I think it's also opens up to console, which we talked about. So. Revan 6 says, I'm sorry, Aim and her replying. And you know what? That doesn't even have a question on it. So there you go. Utrub, I agree with you on the matchmaking because it's frustrating when you're playing a tier 7 and you end up playing against tier 9s. Now, Utrub, we were talking about CVs only. We were not talking about the rest of the matchmaking. We were only talking about CVs being +1, -1. But it's definitely frustrating when you're playing as a tier 7 into tier 9 games when you have planes like even the Freddy the Groper. I can't stand this boat at tier 9, but my God, that AA on that tier 9 boat is stupid. And if you get into a tier 8 or a tier 7 game, you are going to eat up some planes at tier 9 on that boat. Malikan, we're gonna take 2 more of these questions and then we're gonna get out of here because we've already gone. We're gone a little bit over here. A midway one shot me with AP bombs at a Salem. Like, I just YOLO'd through my defensive AA and Death Strike me. Like, what the F? Malikin, yeah, you're right. I mean, are you talking about the current or are you talking about the rework? If you're talking about the current, this is the problem. This is the problem with the AA. It's too inconsistent. Sometimes you shoot everything down. The other times you don't shoot nothing down. Or sometimes
AP bomb, so...
Well, it doesn't matter. The hack's getting them. So does it really a wash? No. We're still going to have the problem of the AP bombs altogether. Talk about it for a little bit. Grieger says, you get flood on the bow and another ship gets flood on the stern. 10 seconds later, are there 2 separate cooldowns? Yes. Grieger, there will be 2 separate cooldowns. If you will get hit in the front, the first one starts ticking off or whatever, and then the back one will tick off at its own pace.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it's supposed to... That's the mechanic. That's the new mechanic coming out.
There you go. And this will be the last question here. Coming from, it's not really a question, it's more of a comment here. Soulless Bill says, my main concern is exactly that. Why should everybody have to set their ships just up for one aspect of the game? Why shouldn't we have to go full AA? If a full AA build is necessary, then it sounds a little bit overpowered. I agree. I totally agree. If you have to set up for something, this is why it was frustrating for me as I'm not a majority of a battleship player, but I have been playing battleships for a very long time. Mm-hmm. Been playing battleships for a very long time. When they take away something that has been just a staunch mechanic of the game for a long time, like the AP versus destroyers, forcing them into giving a choice. Now, when you force me into having to make that choice of what I would like to shoot at this thing, do I want to have the risk of HE doing 7 hits and hitting nothing, or hitting 7 times and doing no damage? Or can I blow him out of the water? Well, I'm going to take the most consistent thing that I can as a battleship, and that would be still the AP. I saw a shot the other day that registered 10,000 damage on 1 hit. So the problem with the AP is still there, of the fact that it can pin and do multiple damages. But we still have the opportunity to have a choice of what we want to shoot. Now, if it's still broken to where you are forced to play nothing but AA ships, then they need to look at changing the way AA works. This is what I said to begin with. Change the way AA first, start there, and then move up. But they went very one-sided and very to the extremes, as wargaming tends to do on these things, as they go full extreme, and they kill the AP versus DDs. Now they're killing the AA, whatever.
When I suggested just deck out your ship full AA mode. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, sounds overpowering, but the only reason why I said that is because you're going to be playing against a lot of CVs coming up.
Yeah.
So it's...
I'm not advocating for full-on AA mode, but I am advocating for let's just troll the shit out of them, because there's going to be a lot of CV players out there. So we are just going to anti-CV play. We're going to play Atlantis. We're going to play Flints. We're going to play the Crusader. We're going to play the Minotaurs. We're going to play the highly spec'd AA boats for 2 reasons. Number one, who cares about the CVs and their opinions? And the next thing is, number 2, let's see exactly how bad the AA is. Let's see how balanced it is. Am I going to consistently shoot down all this AA, or am I going to shoot it down early in the game? I get hit a couple of times, and then my AA doesn't work as effective later on. We've got to figure these things out, so that's what we're going to do. And fuck the CVs.
Yeah, kind of, and just play with it. You know what I mean? And see where we're at in a month.
Yeah, we'll see where we're at. We'll keep up with it. We'll keep track of it for the next couple of podcasts. Well, anyway, man, that's it for us here, bros. jequalsjosh, guys, man, that was a great podcast. Thanks for coming on with us. Don't forget, guys can hit him up over on his Twitch channel, twitch.tv/jequalsjosh. Also, hit him up on his Twitter jequalsjosh as well. If you guys are here in the chat, guys, thank you very much for being here. You guys can hit me up on my Twitter at sir_venom_IK. If you guys are over on the YouTube channel, hit me up right here, twitch.tv/SirVenomIK. If you guys want to continue the conversation after the podcast is over, me and Josh, we're going to play for another couple of hours here on some games. And if you guys want to continue any of the things that we talked about, you guys are more than welcome to. I do appreciate it. Across Your Bow podcast episode 15. Boom, it's in the books. Don't forget, next week. Don't forget, next week we have Kami Samurai going to come on the 6th of February, and Ashley, aka Ashley, will come on the next week on the 13th, and we will talk about whatever's happening in the community then. So thank you guys very much. I am Sir Venom. He is jequalsjosh. We love you, bros. Woo. TBD fam, jequalsjosh. Yo, bro. Yo, bro. Yo, bro. Yo, bro. I love it, guys. Thank y'all very much, man. We will see y'all next time. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off here.
See you guys. Thanks for having me.